Victoria was the kind of woman everyone admired. Smart, polished, and always one step ahead. But behind the perfect smile was a heart drowning in pressure. Bills piled higher than her paychecks, and scrolling through social media only made things worse. Her friends flaunted designer bags, new cars, and vacations she couldn't afford. One day, temptation whispered. At first, it seemed small as shortcut. Just this once. She convinced herself no one would ever know, and for a while it worked. She carried her secret like a hidden crown, smiling in the daylight, but trembling at night. Then came the storm. A single detail she overlooked. One slip in her carefully built faud, and the truth unraveled. The mask shattered, and suddenly, the people who once praised her were staring at her with disbelief. Victoria's downfall wasn't just about what she did. It was about the choices that led her there. Pressure and comparison. The battles no one talks about until it's too late. And so, her story leaves us with one haunting question. What would you do when life corners you? Take the hard road or the easy one that costs you everything? Victoria's story isn't just about temptation. Stay with me as this story will leave you thinking twice about the paths we take when life gets hard. You're welcome to Classic Tales by Dorothy. Victoria and her family lived in Lagos State. She was the first daughter in a family of 4. Her father was a roadside mechanic who toiled under the scorching sun, fixing broken-down cars for meager pay. Her mother sold provisions at the market, leaving home before dawn and returning late at night with barely enough profit to feed the family. Life was never easy. Many nights, Victoria and her siblings went to bed with barely enough to eat. Yet even in poverty, Victoria shone like a bright star. She was intelligent and hardworking. She loved to study even when there was no electricity. She would often think about when things would change for good in the story of her family. Her parents had high hopes on their children, Victoria. Her mother would say, "You and your siblings are our light. You will carry this family out of darkness." Those words stayed with Victoria, fueling her desire to succeed. Through sheer resilience, Adara secured admission to the University of Lagos. She studied business administration and quickly became one of the best in her class. While her peers partied, she worked part-time jobs, selling clothes in the hostels, and even helping her fellow students with assignments to raise extra money. It wasn't easy, but she eventually graduated with a very good result. Her family rejoiced. The university environment taught Victoria determination. The campus energy pushed her forward. The lectures sharpened her mind. The challenges built her resilience and helped her to be focused. For Victoria, school was more than a place of learning. It was the foundation of the woman she was becoming. To Victoria's parents, they were proud that she was focused while at school. After months of job hunting, Victoria finally landed a position as an office assistant in a reputable Lagos firm. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid better than anything she'd ever earned. Her boss, Mr. Okoro, was a kind man who quickly came to trust her. She managed the office diligently, never late, never careless. Everyone respected her. But Lagos is a city of pressure. Everywhere she turned, she saw people flaunting success. Her colleagues who drove brand new cars, women in her age group who wore designer outfits and carried imported handbags, friends who traveled abroad and posted glossy pictures on Instagram. Meanwhile, Victoria's reality was different. Her salary barely covered her family's feeding allowance, transportation to and from work, and the money she faithfully paid her siblings' school fees. By the time she managed her expenses, nothing much remained at her account. Her friends teased her. "Victoria, you're too stingy. Look at you, still wearing simple gowns when everyone is glowing. You work in one of the best firms in Lagos, yet nobody would know." They laughed, but the words stung. In her quiet moments, Victoria wondered if she was truly living. The pressure grew when her parents kept on reminding her daily that her younger siblings depended on her for their school fees and feeding allowance. Victoria began to feel suffocated. Then one day, temptation came. It started with a small amount, an unapproved adjustment in the office account. "I'll replace it next month," she told herself. But when nobody noticed, her confidence grew. She began to take larger sums, cleverly covering her tracks. At first, she was afraid. She expected to be caught. But weeks turned into months, and no one noticed. That was when Adara's life changed. She started wearing elegant clothes, bought a new phone, and moved into a finer apartment. Suddenly, she was the envy of her circle. "Wow, Victoria, you are looking great these days," her friends said in awe. She would smile and reply, "Hard work pays." But in truth, dishonesty was paying her bills. Her boss, Mr. Okoro, trusted her deeply. He often said, "Victoria is like a daughter to me. I don't need to double-check anything she handles." Those words only deepened the weight of her secret. But she silenced her conscience. She told herself, "Nobody will ever know." She started the habit of visiting expensive restaurants for lunch. While walking into the restaurant, she would feel proud of herself for being able to afford eating in such classy places. She felt great about the experience. Then came the day that changed everything. As she was in the office and working on her laptop, a message came up on her phone. "We know what you did. We need to talk. I am your colleague at the office. Meet me tomorrow at AM, or the whole world will know about your illegal actions in the office. This is the address, 2 Andy Street, Surler." It is a restaurant. Victoria's heart nearly stopped. She sat frozen, her hand trembling. Who could have discovered her secret? She could not concentrate on her job. The next morning, she arrived at the restaurant, fear written across her face. There, she saw Mike, the young intern from her office. They both sat down to talk. "You?" she whispered in shock. "Yes," Mike replied coldly. "I've seen everything. Every late-night login, every suspicious transfer. You thought you were smart, Victoria, but the truth always leaves footprints." "What do you want from me?" she asked desperately. "I don't want your money. I want the truth. Either confess now or I tell Mr. Okoro myself." "Don't worry. I will tell him myself. Thank you for approaching me to discuss this, instead of announcing it in the office. I don't know what came over me. It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes in life. Victoria, please don't do it again. It's not worth it. Don't allow the pressure of life to destroy your future. You are one of the people that I respect a lot in the office. I promise you that. I will stop it," Victoria responded. "I believe you," Mike replied and left the restaurant. The next day, Victoria was seated in front of her boss. She told him everything. His face was heavy with pain. "I trusted you," Mr. Okoro said slowly, his voice breaking. "You were like family to me. Why would you betray me?" Tears poured down her face as she cried. "I was under pressure. I just wanted to help my family. I thought no one would notice. Please forgive me." But apologies could not undo the damage. Mr. Okoro shook his head, and the police were called. As Victoria walked through the office corridor in handcuffs, her colleagues whispered, staring at her with disgust. The humiliation pierced her soul. She was taken to a police cell, where she sat in darkness, trembling, broken, and alone. She thought she had gotten away with it, but the truth had caught her. She whispered to herself, and then she heard a loud noise of a drum sounding outside, and suddenly she opened her eyes. She was shocked to see that she was in her house and on her own bed, drenched in sweat. It was morning. Victoria gasped, looking around. There were no police officers, no prison cell, no disappointed boss. It had all been a dream, yet it felt so real. Everything was a dream. Her lifestyle of going to the classy restaurant, even the classy clothes. Victoria fell to her knees, whispering, "God, thank you. I still have time to change." From that day, Victoria was never the same. She stopped comparing herself to others, stopped chasing appearances, and stopped looking for shortcuts. She worked honestly, lived simply, and found peace and contentment. She learned that no amount of wealth gained through dishonesty can give lasting joy, but a little, earned with integrity, will carry you farther than riches gained in shame. The next month, Victoria was promoted to a managerial position. Her salary was increased. She thereafter expanded her mother's business. She opened a bigger shop for her mother. Her father's mechanic workshop got expanded, and she also bought a car for him to use for taxi business. The pressure began to ease on Victoria, and she gave God thanks. Lesson of the story: be content with what you have. Honesty will crown you with honor, while deceit will always end in disgrace. Contentment is the secret to peace. In a world where people chase status, possessions, and applause, remember this: what you gain dishonestly will never last, but what you build with integrity will always stand. Victoria's dream was a warning, and her new life became a testimony. Be patient, honest, and content. Because no shortcut in life is worth the price of shame. When you consistently combine hard work with patience and a contented mindset, you increase your ability to achieve long-term goals, build resilience and confidence, and experience a greater sense of peace and fulfillment. I hope you learned something from the story. Please remember to leave your comments and subscribe to my channel. Until the next video, stay uplifted.